Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an impromptu Turnbuckle Tavern live stream in the news right here on the Turnbuckle Tavern's official YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, everywhere you can find the Tavern. I'm your host, Young Anthony. Joined with me, as always, is Ace Field and MJ Bone this week.
I'm a better podcaster, and you know it.
Got some crazy.
What's going on, guys? I feel like I'm on the Raw down, but we're breaking freaking news from AEW. That was wild. What a wild ride this is.
What a wild week. What a wild week this has been in pro wrestling.
Crazy week in all of wrestling, especially AEW. And we're about to get into just another piece of news to add on to this. So we saw on Twitter today, CM Punk told everyone to watch Rampage because he had some news about his future for the World Championship and his career going forward. And this led to, of course, Punk coming out on Rampage tonight. And he gave the news, the unfortunate news, that he would have to step away from the ring for now because he is facing an injury. Of course, this is, to everyone's surprise, he just won the title at Double or Nothing this past weekend. He was in the ring this past Wednesday in the six-man tag, and here we are Friday evening, and now we are left technically without an AEW World Champion. However, that will not be the case for long, because at the end of Rampage, we got the official word on how this is going to work. So as it says here on the little blurb that they put at the end, there will be a battle royal to kick off Dynamite next week. The winner is going to face the number one contender, who is technically Jon Moxley right now, in the main event of that Dynamite for a shot at the interim AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door. The wording is weird. I don't know if it means the main event of Forbidden Door or the main event of Dynamite. This is all confusing. But we're here to break it down.
I can see
start us off.
I can see Cocaine Tony just trying to describe what's going to happen, to this, and to like some production assistant, and he's just sitting there like, yeah. Okay, and that's what was put up. He put everything except let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy, and it's not unprecedented. We've dealt with situations like this, but how they handled it is sort of unprecedented. It was unclear following the segment. He didn't relinquish the title until they said it. Jericho said it multiple times on commentary. Excalibur clarified when they returned from break, and we got all that jumbled information with the Moxley stuff getting involved in Forbidden Door. But what was weird is he didn't lay the title down. And you said it when we were off air, Young Anthony. I think Tony Khan's favorite word is interim. We're going to have a messy situation like we had with the Cody and the TNT Championship and Sammy Guevara. This will sort itself out pretty quickly because of the fact it's starting next week on Dynamite. But the Forbidden Door piece plays a part because the match was set up with Tanahashi. And I know we're talking off air and we're conjecturing about whether or not he plays a role in this. But how do you have Tanahashi, who's an outsider, at Forbidden Door challenge for an interim title? Like, I know that wasn't confirmed, but the wording is weird. It feels very, very bizarre. I know they don't want to seem like Punk is abandoning the title because he's going to be back, but you should have just made it a vacant title and Punk gets a shot when he returns, when he's ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to put that comment up with Chad seems to think he's happy. And I'd like to know why they're glad they didn't strip him. I mean, to me, this is the World Championship, and we're trying to create this prestige of this new World Championship. It's 3 years old. Technically, not even 3 years old, right? And you're trying to create this prestige of this championship, and you're gonna make it an interim champion. Mm-hmm. It makes it way too convoluted. This isn't mixed martial arts. This isn't UFC. This isn't, anything like that. This is pro wrestling. Just have him drop the title. And I don't even like it in UFC, to be honest with you. It makes it too convoluted. It makes it too confusing to follow in UFC.
Right. Chad just mentioned that, he's good friends with Dana White in terms of the name of the game in UFC. I guess it adds to the sports field, but come on. There's a difference between sports and pro wrestling. We don't need that many interim champions, especially after everything that happened with the TNT title. And we saw how that kind of decreased the credibility of the belt. To do that on the world title, I think it's not necessary. And it also takes away from the true potential that you have going forward with a new champion. The way I thought that they were going to go about this is, just have a tournament. You take 8 or however many of the guys that you have that can contend for this title, Moxley, Danielson, Kingston, all these guys that are, take them out of their element, whatever they're doing, put them in this tournament and let them have the tournament that we truly were supposed to have for the Owen. And I mentioned it in the group chat earlier today.
Yeah.
I've been very vocal about how I just didn't like how they went about the whole Owen Cup. This would have been the perfect opportunity. You have 8 of your best talents going for that World Heavyweight Championship. And the fact that they're doing an interim champion with a battle royal, which you don't normally see, in wrestling. When was the last time we saw a battle royal in AEW? The ring, the diamond ring. The fact that they're doing a battle royal here and they're putting Moxley in, I don't know. This is very strange to me. I would have rather just had the tournament, start it this Dynamite, end it at Forbidden Door, and have them be the new champion going forward. And when Punk comes back, he's the first one in line to get the title shot. I just don't know what they're doing here.
Yeah, I think I have PTSD right now from MJF because all I kept thinking was like the Summer of Punk. We just reviewed this on Honor Society last week where he's in the ring crying and then he does the heel turn. I know this is not a work, but a piece of my brain was like, now everything seems like it could be a work. But yeah, I agree with you guys. It really depends. The biggest piece is interim business is how serious is the injury? Obviously, it's serious enough to need surgery, but not serious enough to put him in a cast. He was able to walk out to the ring. So if he's going to be returning in, by July, an interim thing makes sense. But if he's out until September, you should have just crowned a champion because now the lineage is sort of messed up because I'm a huge fan of lineage of championships. And when you start to splinter them, or this guy is an interim champion and this guy was here, and then you combine them, it gets messy and it doesn't need to be messy if he's not coming back till later. Again, I'm okay with it if he's coming back in July and you can just close the loop, say, midsummer and Punk gets his title back or loses it or whatever. That's what makes it interesting. But if he's out for an extended period of time, title needs to go off. I'm like Finn Balor when he lost the Universal title. It's happened.
Mm-hmm. I kind of have a feeling a little bit that this is Punk's idea a little bit to do this interim deal. Because if you think back, whenever he won the WWE title the first time, he takes the title, he goes away, right? Then they have the little 4-man tournament to crown the champion. Rey Mysterio becomes champion. Then John Cena challenges it. He wins the title that night. Then it's John Cena and CM Punk. It's this weird situation, like who's the champion at SummerSlam, and then Kevin Nash comes out of nowhere and power butts. It was weird, Alberto Del Rio becomes a champion at the end of it. It's like, anyways, that's WWE booking.
If we're fantasy booking the Battle Royal, my bad, J-Bone, finish up.
But I mean, I think this is like Punk's idea to keep himself over. Obviously they had big plans with it. I think personally, and another reason why they're keeping the title on him, and I kind of mentioned this in the chat like last week. I think they want to have a reign bigger than 434 days, so that's his crowning achievement.
Well, that's the thing that I was going to ask is, do you think that they're going to, if they have an interim champion, does that cut Punk's reign here and then the interim reign starts, or does it keep going? I think that's really the main thing here is they want to keep that reign going. They're not ready for a short champion yet because let's be real, even with Adam Page, we haven't seen a very short championship reign yet. I mean, Page's championship run was longer than Jericho's by about 20 days. So, I don't think AEW is ready to have a short championship reign yet. So I think that this interim championship is the way to go about it. I want to give how I would go about the Battle Royal in just a second. I want to get to some comments because we're lighting it up in the comments section. We have Chad says it hurts the title and the prestige of it more to strip the guy a week into his reign. This could build to a great champ versus champ match if the interim champ is built strong. That's a very good point.
Let me add something to that. It's not like this is like a booking decision. It's not like, oh yeah, let's take him off because of some angle we're going to do. We're going to do MJF versus Punk now. We don't want MJF to be the champion yet. Or whatever. It sounds like some kind of booking decision we're doing here. The man got hurt. Shit happens. It's not ballet.
But if he is able to come back, say by 4th of July, Boney, And would you be okay with it being an interim, or would you be?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, if it's like that quick a turnaround, but I mean, from what the sounds of it is, it doesn't sound like it'll be that quick. I mean, broken bones, that could be, a couple months. So
Yeah, the fact that he was walking out to the ring though makes me. And there was no cast involved. There was no crutches. No, I don't know. I mean, it could be a quick.
I don't think it's going to
turnaround.
be for a long time. I don't think so. I think this interim thing is just maybe a few months or so. But
well, then why have an interim champion to begin with? Like
I guess you just have the championship presence on. I really don't know, to be honest. But let's get to some other comments real quick. Freems is in the chat. He says it would be interesting if they work the MJF angle into this. I don't know how they would do this. I mean, I think MJF's whole thing is away from the title, and that's always been MJF's thing, is staying away from the championship. But this could be a way to get him into the title picture. So I wouldn't disagree there. That would be interesting. I don't want another tournament, says Chad, right off the heels of the Owen. We're going to have a 6-man tournament soon. Don't tournament me to death. Yeah, I mean, you could have a small tournament, if anything, but I just think a battle royal, especially a match type that we haven't seen a lot of in AEW.
I'm okay. I'm okay with the battle royal. It gives me Razor Ramon, Rick Martel vibes.
Yeah.
And Freems also says, I think we need a triple threat tag match, and the winners of that get to face each other in another match, but then they make that a triple threat match for whatever reason. Getting complicated on me, Freems.
Boney, going back to what you said, why do they go to the interim? I think if they didn't have this June pay-per-view coming up, they probably wouldn't have cared. But the fact that they have a forbidden door to sell and they want people on pay-per-view, I think that they need their championship there, whether it's interim or not,
build it,
belt represented.
But you could build it with a Tanahashi and Moxley, or Tanahashi and Danielson, or Tanahashi and whoever. I mean, that's the draw, right? Yeah. Because the match was never for the title.
I think Tanahashi was supposed to challenge for the AEW Championship. I think that was originally penciled in, but he wasn't going to win. So, okay. I would imagine Tanahashi. That's fine. Yeah, so I think they want the title there in some capacity. And listen, this creates a lot of intrigue, where intrigue probably wasn't there at the event, because, like we talked about, if Tanahashi challenged for the title, there's no way he's taking off Punk. We all were getting strapped in our seatbelts, ready for the Summer of Punk, and now this threw a huge wrench into it. Maybe we still get that Summer of Punk, but it's going to look a lot different. And maybe that they work this into storyline and Punk turns heel here. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do.
It's the summer of MJF, let's be honest. But,
that's true.
True. The summer of
AEW. He stole the pipe bomb. Now he stole the summer. So,
yeah. I mean, there are many ways that they could go about this interim championship, and I think that's really the fun thing about it all, is even with there being an interim champion, you're still going to have the possibility of, will they give it to Moxley? Will they give it to someone else? And I want to go to you guys right now, and like, who do you guys think is the prime candidate to win this tournament? And actually, before you go into it, because I want to give my prediction, because if there is any time to pull the trigger on this, it is right now. This man should be the winner of that battle royal, and he should be the interim champion. And I'll tell you why. Because you already have a story there of the history between Moxley and Kingston. You can go and have Eddie be the champion. And then when Punk comes around, there's already story there. Kingston and Moxley, you could even do it at Grand Slam if you want to hold on to that interim championship for a while, just so Punk can heal up. Plus, Ace, you even said maybe this leads to a heel turn for CM Punk. Maybe this leads into the whole Eddie Kingston can't win the big one. Punk comes in, takes the spotlight from Eddie. If there's ever a time to give him the belt, and I think this is the only time that it works, I would go ahead and give the title to Eddie Kingston, but that's selfishly me. My second candidate would be Bryan Danielson.
I am a huge fan of that. That is, I would book that. That wouldn't be my first choice, but if you get Eddie Kingston involved, like you said, there's no way you can work him into the main event right now with the stacked main event unless something like this happens. And it fits into his story where he's like always the underdog. Oh, and he won the title finally, but it's an interim title. It's just not the right one. I like the built-in story with Moxley, but if I'm fantasy booking it, I'm putting the title on Bryan Danielson, having him win the Battle Royal, wrestling Moxley of the Blackpool Combat Club going there, and then you go further on when Punk comes back, built in, CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson, boom, for the unified title. That sells me and sells everybody else involved. I'm here for that. That would be amazing.
Yep, that works.
Absolutely Absolutely not on neither of those.
On Bryan Danielson?
Not on his first reign. Absolutely not. No, I don't want him to be all muddied up with a fucking interim world championship reign. I think that's terrible, terrible. It's got to go to some. Let's be real. It's got to be Moxley here. Okay, Moxley has to be your champion right now. Your interim champion. Why? Because a couple of reasons why. He's already been the champion, right? He's already been the champion, and it doesn't muddy it up so much. And two, he carried this company through the pandemic. And if there's anyone that could carry a company right now, put it on his back, put it on that fucking man right there that's on the screen, Jon Moxley, because he can do it. And then you get a banger of a match of Jon Moxley versus CM Punk. That's it.
All right. So we all mentioned guys involved that are otherwise occupied in blood and guts. So you mentioned Eddie Kingston. I mentioned Danielson. Boney, you mentioned Jon Moxley. Do we put the blood and guts stuff on hold, or you still have that match despite what's going on with all this mess? Because not only you're building up to this world title picture, you have to build towards that blood and guts, which is supposed to be the culmination of a huge feud. So now you have two roads intersecting, and you don't want something to be falling off, because this is blood and guts is a big thing that you're building towards as well.
Well, I mean, you could put Wheeler in there. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, he's his time. I think that the junior cup is junior tournament's about to be over with, right?
Yes. So Wheeler should be back within the next 3 weeks.
Okay, so there you go.
Stuff. Boom. Yeah, he should be back. Yeah.
Yeah. So put Wheeler in there. Solved. Done. Boom.
Listen, I don't hate the idea. I'm just a Bryan Danielson fan. I think this is the perfect way to get CM Punk, Bryan Danielson with meaning. And I know that we could wait for it, but they're both aging. You know, we watch Punk get injured on a simple move or a dive into the stands, and we may never get that match on an AEW stage. The timing is right for me. As a fan, selfishly, we're all talking selfishly here because we're booking it in our own heads. I would love to see Danielson and CM Punk go after the title. And listen, you could have Danielson lose to Moxley too, but I still want to see those two go at it with the title on the line. That would meet.
I think this also kind of throws a wrench into the whole, Blackpool Combat Club, because the whole thing of the Combat Club is, Moxley and Danielson were at war with each other for so long, and then it was finally Regal to bring them together for a common good in training the future, Wheeler Yuta, and, being united in violence. For one of them to have the title over the other, that could lead to, a story between Moxley and Danielson. But do you really want to start that breakup so early?
No,
that's the only thing I have.
No.
I mean,
they don't have to break up, but they don't have to break up. They
don't have to, but it definitely
they're forged in blood. They're forged in blood. That's the whole story. No, we don't have to break up just because they had a match.
We talked about what we want. But what I think is we may get a Wardlow just pushed right in here and forcing his way in. I'm just saying I'm not here for that.
Well, maybe as the that's fine. I'm fine for that. No, actually I'm not. I'm not, because that's gonna kill Wardlow's momentum. Wardlow just needs to be beating dudes up left and right like he was before the MJF thing. So no, because I'm not too confident with the way they booked Wardlow. Like I don't have like super great vibes after Double or Nothing, and then to kill his momentum even further against Moxley. No. And he doesn't need to be the title. I doesn't need to be anybody new, because it's going to muddy this whole lineage up. It's because when he actually goes to win the title, what is he? Is he 2-time champion, or is he not 2-time champion?
Right. No,
he's one-time interim and one-time, real champion. I mean,
look, I'll tell you this: if you're going to go with Moxley, you need to put someone younger up against him, because this is the perfect opportunity.
That's good.
To, have someone younger go up again. But here's the thing: actually, let me get to some comments, because we have a lot of people talking right now. Circle of Debates in the chat. There's so many different scenarios you can go with this. You can make Cole win it all and lead to the Club Elite at Forbidden Door, or you just give it to Moxley to face Tanahashi. Freems thinks we're nuts. This is the best way to set up Punk.
He thinks you're
Danielson
nuts
before they're 50. I think he. No, that was actually for you for saying Moxley. Chad is actually 1,000. I don't know how many zeros that is, but definitely going with you.
1 billion%.
Dollars.
If Circle of Debate says if Cole wins it and the Jay White wins the IWGP title, that's also something you can go with. Tyson's in the chat. Thanks for joining us. We also have Omega's not ready yet, but it would be a nice
Omega's
surprise
not
entrant. Yeah, he's definitely not going to be in there, but it would be pretty cool. What are the odds that they just give it back to Hangman? I mean, you can make the argument that Adam Page, he had kind of a shorter reign with it. They could just give it back to him.
I think they have better plans, or not better plans. I shouldn't say that. I think they have other plans for Hangman.
No, I think there are better plans than Hangman.
Yeah,
I think there are better things you could do with the title.
We saw the run too, and if you guys saw the
maybe.
Fightful report from yesterday, Okada and Hangman is on the docket with no titles on the line. So I think that is his target right now for a month. They're going to build towards that, and I think we're probably going to see Okada on Dynamite. He's wrestling David Finlay on, so you have a New Japan guy. I think we're going to see Okada very soon, and they're going to build towards that Hangman match because they had that on the run, and we know that the dirt sheets are sometimes wrong, but they're right a lot of times, and Okada has to be involved in Forbidden Door. There's no way you don't have.
I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. That's fine.
And I'm here for that match. That match would probably steal the show.
It would be great. It would be a phenomenal match.
For sure. I mean, are there any other contenders that you have right now that could really go up again? So, I mean, Chad's whole thing is that he doesn't want someone to burn their first
I'm right
run.
there. I'm right there with him on that too.
But
I
think not to say you're
I
necessarily
see your point,
burning a run. If anything, this could literally just be, let's say Eddie Kingston wins the title. That's not to say that Eddie Kingston will lose to Punk. What if they just go in that direction that they have Eddie Kingston beat CM Punk at Arthur Ashe? He could hold it on for a little bit. That's not to say it's necessarily burning the first run if he goes on to beat CM Punk, or it depends who it is, whoever it may be.
I think we're in a good spot
to win
though.
that match.
So if Eddie gets it, he's a guy that would never have won the title anyway. But I agree with you, Boney. Right. You don't want someone's first title reign to have that asterisk next to it. It feels weird. I think Bryan Danielson could overcome it. He's a veteran. He's already established. A guy like Wardlow would be crushed by that because his moment should feel like Dave Bautista at WrestleMania 21. It should feel like that crowning moment for him. It shouldn't have to be he holds the title for a month and then loses to Punk for Punk to retain. And that just feels hollow to me, and we don't want that to be the case because Wardlow is a huge future. Bryan Danielson, Bryan Danielson's a guy. He doesn't ever have to win the championship, but if you're going to have – I love him, and I don't think he needs the championship, but he can step up in the spot right now. Yeah, some new points. But, Boney, I completely agree with you. And the more you talk about it and the more we sit here, and this is just fresh off the dome, guys. We literally just stopped watching Rampage like all of you, so we're letting it marinate.
Yep.
I think it is important right now not to be reactionary and be like, oh, pull the trigger on Wardlow and let him be the guy because he wouldn't be the guy. His interim tag just makes you everything but the guy. Eddie Kingston fits that mold. Moxley fits the mold. I think Bryan Danielson does as well. So I think we're all kind of in the same sphere, but we want a veteran guy who can carry the company and not worry about, he hasn't done it before. So
let's have this little feud with Mark Sterling. Let that get out of the way with Wardlow. Then he can set his eyes on the TNT title and then go from there.
Wardlow does not need the championship right now. We are far away from a Wardlow championship run. Far
away. If Bryan Danielson doesn't have it, then Wardlow shouldn't have it.
Right, absolutely. When we're talking about someone burning their first run, I feel like that does go for someone that's younger, though, like a Wardlow or even like an MJF. Like if the whole MJF story wasn't going on as it is right now, and he was in the spot where he could be a potential champion, you wouldn't want to burn his first championship run here either. Whereas that's why I'm saying for someone like, Danielson, Kingston, even fucking Jericho, because I feel like that's something that they would do. Just throw the title on Jericho right now. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's, someone's first title reign because, for someone like Kingston, when are they going to get another title reign to begin with? So you might as well give them that feel-good moment where it will carry them throughout the summer, get to Punk, have him take the title off of him, have him beat Punk. I'm just trying to convince everyone that Eddie Kingston's the way to go here. But I mean, it really goes for anyone. If I'm booking this, I'm putting the title on someone who won't have the championship any other time. This is the
True.
perfect opportunity to just have a nice reset for now and not have it affect things when Punk comes back and takes that title. That's my whole thing, but I could see it from both ends.
Yeah, I do see your point, but I think it muddies it up just too much, and I think you got to do Moxley versus Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, isn't there?
Yeah.
What do they have? They have Battle of the Belts in August, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And let's say Punk is able to come back then.
You want to pop a rating on TNT?
That's it. That's it right there, And then and I just think they just that's just the way to go right now. And then you can have Punk, Moxley, feud with many different iterations of people, maybe kind of complete that circuit, so to speak, from his first reign, and then then you go up against Punk. I guess the more I kind of keep thinking about it, as much as I don't like the interim, I'm starting to kind of warm up to it a little bit, thinking that like if it is just like a broken foot situation, and he's out for 2 months, I guess that's not that big of a deal, but it has to be again someone who, for me, that has already been champion.
So in moments of extreme duress, I would say your world champion being hurt and having to relinquish the title is extreme duress. You go with the safe option, something that a comfortable feeling. There's nothing more comfortable than Moxley. We know what it feels like as champion. We know he's able to carry the load in a time that was the pandemic. My only concern is like, does the draw, and again, this is just me thinking, is the draw of Moxley Tanahashi as the same as Danielson Tanahashi for the title? But if you're just booking to get to that match, that's even more nearsighted than the whole interim stuff. But at the end of the day, this is just intriguing. And, a lot of times situations like this are sad. Like I hate to see Punk injured this way, and he was upset in the ring.
It sucks. Yep. It really does.
It creates all these scenarios that we wouldn't have gotten. And I'm just hoping that we get a battle royal that makes sense booking wise. We don't get guys that just are thrown in there. I don't want Dante Martin in there. I want guys that legit feel like they could win and create some uncertainty that it's not just a foregone conclusion.
You could sprinkle like a Dante, like some people like in there. I mean, obviously,
guys,
I mean, you want top guys. Yeah, you want top guys in there. Adam Cole, you're going to put
Malachi should be in there. Yeah.
Malachi. Mm-hmm. I would even take, if you can, get Jay White in there. Just to add a little bit of intrigue to it, and maybe even have Jay White win. That would be kind of cool, right?
Might as well.
We kind of set up that kind of Forbidden Door type angle and have it, go the, to see what happens. It's a good way to kind of sell that pay-per-view.
What about Okada win the title and then have Okada defend it against Hangman and just do it there? And then
I will say, Punk. The history of if Moxley goes on to win the match, which I mean, it's probably the safest option, the highest option, whatever. They have had history with Moxley and Tanahashi addressed on AEW, and I know it was in New Japan.
That's a good point.
So I'm saying they wrestled over the U.S. Championship, so it's happened. That's what I'm saying. Let's draw for the pay-per-view buy. I don't know. And again, whatever. You're not booking for just Forbidden Door for the next 12 months, but
right.
Tanahashi versus Moxley has happened, and I don't think the appeal is the same as if we're going to get Punk versus Tanahashi or maybe Danielson versus Tanahashi matches.
But if you throw in it's for the AEW title, I mean, it
adds intrigue for sure, and it'll be a good match.
Give the title to Tanahashi. Why not?
Fuck yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's why I just wish that they were crowning the champion at Forbidden Door, because, like, for me, whoever faces Tanahashi, it's obviously going to be. Well, I'm saying whoever faces Tanahashi, because it's probably going to be the winner on Dynamite versus Tanahashi. We all know that the winner on Dynamite is going all the way. So that's why I wish that Moxley versus the winner of the Battle Royal was happening at Forbidden Door, because at least there's a little more unpredictability there.
But we knew Punk was going to beat Tanahashi. He wasn't going to lose the title. He wasn't going to drop the title to Tanahashi either. So
I think it's just a different scenario now, because now we don't have a champion. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just little things there. I want to go through the comments and then we'll probably close out. What do we have here? We have Freem says Omega versus Page for the interim title.
That'd be great.
I don't think we're
getting it. Omega's ready.
Love to see it, but I don't think we'll get it.
I don't think he is.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think Omega's going to be cleared for a while.
Yeah, I don't think he's ready.
Circle of Debate says the major concern is how they're going with this heading to Forbidden Door, and after that, eventually we will see MJF get into the title picture for him to beat Punk at All Out. I don't think you see MJF in the title picture for a long time. I think Chad said it. MJF will beat Punk for the title in 2023. I don't know if he'll beat Punk specifically. I'm still not convinced that we're getting a very long reign from Punk. I think we'll get a good reign, but I don't think it's going to be a very long reign. But I mean, MJF versus Punk, the story's there, but I don't think we'll see MJF going for the title as early as All Out. Circle of Debate also says, but now you have to add someone into this picture since Punk is out right now, and we don't know how severe the injury is. Yep, that's the whole thing.
That's a huge piece.
You know, it could be until All Out. It could be until you know, Arthur Ashe. Could be until next year. Like that's the whole thing. We don't really know yet. So they got to be. That's why I think, like we've been saying, like Moxley's probably the safest bet, just because we don't know the duration of the injury. But you also have the chance to do something cool, and I will stand by my pick of Eddie Kingston being the way to go.
I love all the options,
but,
guys.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways you can go about it, and I think Dynamite's definitely going to be interesting this week, to say the least. I just hope they go about this correctly, and we don't have, you know, a whole TNT interim champion picture, which was a whole fucking mess. But with that being said, folks, we are just hitting the 30-minute mark, so we are going to get the hell out of here. If you liked what you heard, and I know that you did, make sure to support the Turnbuckle Tavern, and that is, of course, by going over to theturnbuckletavern.com, where you can listen to our podcast, watch our videos, support on Twitch, TikTok, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and buy our merch at Pro Wrestling Tees and Teespring. Join the community. We have a great time over here at the Turnbuckle Tavern. Folks, thank you for tuning in. We will see you on the next In the News whenever there's some big news to discuss. But until then, take care.